Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to take you through my process of building a big Lego MOC really quickly. Let's jump into it. So for this video I'm going to be using as an example this MOC which I created in under 24 hours for a LEGO Ideas Build the Scariest Ghost contest. I originally had the idea to use brick separators when the contest was first announced, but I got really distracted and ended up having to build it within the last day or two of the contest. So the final project was a little rushed, but that is exactly what this video is going to be about, showing my tips and tricks of how to build a MOC quickly and still have it look pretty good. So just as a quick overview of this MOC before we get started, I had the idea to have a brick separator ghost that's very blocky and made out of only basic bricks. Those are mostly 2x4s and a couple of plates, and then of course the brick separators. And I had the idea of him kind of breaking apart all of the nice MOCs and turning them with the brick separators back into the basic bricks. So I thought that was kind of a cool concept, and of course it was Ghostbusters themed, so I had to throw the Ghostbusters minifigs down there with their scared faces. And so basically I decided to first build this head. That's what I started with, to give the entire thing some scale. And this is my first time doing anything like that, building a natural kind of round shape out of bricks. I think it turned out really well. You can see I gave the monster ghost guy some dark green eyes and actually dark green mouth, but it's very dark down there. It's kind of difficult to see. And otherwise, it's pretty basic. I think it turned out well. You can see that underneath here, it's just snot pieces that hold on the brick separators. And down here, this arm holding this building is not really attached, but it's also made out of basic bricks. And you can see that there's a ton of dark tan 2x2 tiles. Those are great space fillers. And lots of fire and some destroyed buildings here. And nice little building there. So, for my tips and tricks for building a MOC really quickly, first is going to be don't build bigger than you have to. You can see this is most of a 48x48 base plate, but it's not all of it. There were no size requirements for the MOC contest on LEGO Ideas, and I just did not feel like I had to finish. You can see my light is right here, but I just did not have to finish this MOC, and I just took pictures from right here, and I think that's totally fine. So my tip is don't build bigger than you have to. Make sure it's big enough to have the amount of detail you want and the enough inclusions for the contest, but don't make it so big that you waste time and pieces and therefore your details more spread out. That leads into the second tip: don't over detail things that you don't have to. If I was building this for another contest that would have required more detail, I probably would have done that. However, because it's LEGO Ideas, the quality of building is not insanely high, so large sections of just tiled off areas is completely acceptable. And then I mixed in some studded areas just to give it more texture, which I really like. Also, I did not use too many colors in this MOC. You can see there's only 10 different colors. Primarily tan down there and dark tan. And the tan is mostly just the parts which have been kind of messed up by the monster. Be sure to use pieces that you don't have to spend too much time making look good, like fire. You can really just put a bunch of fire there and it'll look great. For example, that little board, just things that look really good that you do not have to spend a ton of time on, like this little broken arch and this wall. This building only took 10 minutes to make. Make sure to maximize the amount of time that you have available. Don't use pieces that are really challenging, difficult techniques. These are very, very basic techniques. Just some occasional snot and very basic brick built tiles and wedge plates and stuff. Another tip I have is to make sure that your minifigures, if there are any, are really, really dynamic and make the scene flow really well. I think in this MOC you can tell exactly what's happening. The Ghostbusters are just running out of the way. He's grabbing the building with his blocky hand, and he's probably roaring, and there's fire everywhere. And I think that goes a long way in making the viewer kind of shift away from the lack of detail and look better at how the MOC tells a story. And I think that's really important for all LEGO building, but especially if you are building with not a lot of time, make sure that your story is there before anything else, really. I mean, get your bricks down, tell your story, and then you can add detail. Another thing you can do to make your buildings look really dynamic is to make different angles. You can see that this building is not built straight on the studs. It's angled a little bit. This arch is angled, this wall is angled, figures are angled, that's angled. Make sure to get things that really contrast for your storytelling. Like this, obviously the monster is really brick built, and everything else is very tiled off. It's wedge plates and slopes. And make sure to use your building techniques to tell your story for what you're trying to build. So just to review, make sure that you don't build too big, or make sure you just know how much time you have so you can know where to spend your time building, if you really need to build over a base plate or not. Make sure to spread out your detail to an adequate amount just to match the level of the contest. Make sure to make your scene dynamic and tell a story. And make sure to use your parts well where you need them, and don't use parts where you don't need them. Make sure to have contrast to tell your story. Make sure to have minifigures in interesting positions. Don't have them just standing there. And I think if you guys do that, you will have a great MOC on your hands after just a day of building. I think that this MOC probably took me in all probably about 5 hours. Not a lot of time, especially for something so new to me, like building round things out of bricks. I think that turned out pretty well. Definitely want to try that again because I have a lot of 2x4 bulk filler brick. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more.